So, not that long ago, I remember we were talking about the state of the condo market. In fact, the rental market overall in the city. But then you look at condos, and I guess if you've been to downtown, it seems like certainly in the last 4 or 5 years, there are literally condos springing up everywhere downtown, right? Well, you'd think given that at some point there must be demand. Otherwise, why would developers be putting up condo after condo? Well, it turns out that decision perhaps is coming back to bite some of them in the backside because there is a new report by the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation suggesting that the condo market, at least here, may be dead for a while. So we thought we'd try to find out more. Francis Cortellino is economist with the CMHC responsible for Quebec, and he is on the line. Francis, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Listen, am I overstating the case when I say the condo market here is dead?
So we're talking mostly about the newly built, so the number of condo starts in the Montreal area and in the province of Quebec. So it's been slowing down in the last few years, but in 2024 and 2025, the number of condo starts was quite low, and basically we're expecting a low year as well in 2026.
So what's brought this on? This, as I said, is it sort of the glut of condos that was here? And when I'm talking about new condo construction, why?
No, so the main problem is that there's no demand at the moment. So even if you look at the number of projects, new condo projects in the Greater Montreal area, there's not a lot. There's only 2,000 pre-sale condos that are available, and only a quarter of them are sold. So you got 75% of pre-construct condos that are unsold at the moment. So the demand is in there. And one of the main challenges to do a new condo, the builders told us that it's that with the construction costs over the last few years, it's quite expensive to put a new condo on the market,
right,
and the price will be way higher than a condo that you can have on the resale market. So all the demand is going to the resale market and not on the new home market.
So I wonder too, and I remember we discussed this in Toronto, which was really going through a bad time with all the new condos that were built there and people not buying. Is part of the problem, or do you even sort of assess that, the fact that, we talk about condos and so many of them built for, single, just for a person, small in space, square footage, etc. And of course, now we're finding out people want more space. They want, a place they can move in with a family. Is that part of the problem where they built sort of the wrong way, assuming that single people would keep buying these?
Yeah, but the difference between Toronto and Montreal, I would say, is that even in the last few years in Toronto, we were building more condos than rental starts. So in Montreal, we've been doing more rental starts in the last, I would say, 10 years, more or less. So I would say that the inventory was quite different. And as for the size of the unit, even in the suburbs of Montreal, where units would be a bit larger, there's almost no condo projects. So I would say the problem is not only with the size in it, but it's mostly with the price tag, that it's so expensive to deliver a new condo on the market that even in the suburbs, somebody will go on the resale market and to buy a condo if you want one.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know in the piece that you wrote, it says that even now, right, when you consider, and we're not talking that many years ago, we're not talking condos built 20 years ago, literally in the last 5 years, that can cost up to 30% more for an equivalent condo.
Yeah, exactly. So we did a smaller research about the resale market of condo built in the last 5 to 10 years compared to new projects. And in some cases, maybe often you have a gap of 15%. That would be like the tax you need to pay when you buy a new condo. But in some cases, like downtown Montreal, there's a gap between the resale and the new home market about 40-50%. So it's way more expensive, those new condo projects, than one that you can have on the resale market. And this is why there's no, I would say, demand for a new condo at the moment.
So I'm going to guess based on that, because obviously developers do not put up condos if they don't think they can sell them. This is, I guess, catching up pretty quickly. Are we seeing pretty much the development or construction of new condos done for now? Slowing?
Yeah, and in the short term, yes. There won't be a lot of new condos being built this year. Even we have data from the Altus Group, who is tracking all condo projects in the Greater Montreal area, and at the moment there's not a lot of those units out there. So builders will continue to do what they've been doing the last few years. They continue to do rental starts. That was the main product being built in the last few years, and it will continue in 2026 for sure.
I wonder if that means you can get a deal, right? If you weren't going to buy that condo, it was too expensive, especially new construction, does it make sense to rent?
That's, I would say, it's a good question. But once again, when you buy a unit, single-family home or condo, you have all those the condo fees, the maintenance, the repairs. So I would say it's a personal question. You need to look at your finance. You need to look at what you want to rent. And even in the rental starts, if you look at the new rental unit, even in the suburbs of Montreal, it's now around $2.50 per square foot to rent a new rental apartment. So the rent often will be around $2,200, $2,300 per month, so it's not for everyone. So even
Right.
new rental starts are quite expensive at the moment.
And if you do a survey across the province or across the city, where now, if you were going to be in the market to buy one of these or even rent, where would be the best? Where do you get the most bang for your buck?
I would say if you look at the rental apartment, there's a lot of competition out there among developers. There's a lot of incentives being offered. You're going to have a free parking. You won't have to pay the rent for 1 or 2 months, even 3 months in some cases. So I would say if you're looking for a rental apartment and the higher price range, you have a lot of options. So you can shop and find the apartment you would like, and probably you're going to have incentives with that apartment.
Okay, but if you were going to pick an area of the city, if it didn't matter to you where you were and you wanted to save the most or get the most, as I said, bang for your buck, where would you go? What part of the city, or would you still want to go outside the city?
If we look at price increase of the condos on the resale market, look at price appreciation, I would say it's increasing in a lot of places in the greater Montreal area, in the suburbs, also in the Montreal Island. The only exception would be that there's a lot of supply at the moment in downtown Montreal for condo, the resale market. So price appreciation is not as high as other places. So probably you would need to go to the suburbs or in other neighborhoods of the Montreal Island, because the downtown Montreal, the market is a bit slower there.
So if the market's slower there, that's a better advantage if you're looking to buy or rent, right? Because there's oversupply?
Yeah, exactly. But if you're looking at in the long term, let's say you buy a condo and you're looking for price appreciation,
right?
In the downtown Montreal, it won't be the case.
I see.
Or
Okay.
in the suburbs, you could have price appreciation. But for incentives, in the rental segment, you're going to have more incentives maybe in downtown Montreal. But once again, in downtown Montreal, you're going to have a price per square foot around $3.50, $3.50 per square foot. So you have rent around $3,000 per month, so it's not for everyone.
6 of one, half dozen of the other, I guess. All right. Francis, want to thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Francis Cortellino from CMHC. So how about that, huh? If you are looking, as he said, the newer condos basically built in the last 5 years, having trouble selling of that stuff. If you're in the market, it looks like, especially downtown where there was just too much built, maybe that's the place to go.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.